Hello, I'm Andrew Pritchard, and thank you for watching today's Northeast Regional Forecast, brought to you by Nutrien Ag Solutions. So we wake up here on Tuesday morning, we'll check in with the jet stream across North America. We continue to watch the ridge of high pressure off to the west, northwest flow coming in across parts of the northwest, and we do have a trough right here, a little subtle trough within the flow that's helping to kick off some thunderstorms along a front here in parts of the central and the eastern Corn Belt. Now, this trough will continue to rotate off to the east, bringing some shower and thunderstorm activity to parts of the northeast region over the next 24 to 72 hours before kind of setting up here in a look like this, where the ridge kind of refines itself, re-strengthens over the central U.S., allowing some heat to kind of build back into the region, but keeping periodic showers and storms in the forecast here across parts of the northeast region, and keeping things from getting a little bit too hot, keeping things from getting too cool across the region as well. And we'll talk about how all this works together. Looking at the temperature forecast here for the next 10 days, the first 5 days are on the left, the 5 days that follow that on the right, in terms of a temperature anomaly here. So the redder colors being where we see warmer than normal temperatures, the blue colors, of course, showing areas of cooler temperatures. And this makes sense with an alignment like this, the ridge off to the west, troughing in the east. That makes sense. We've got cooler weather here across parts of the Midwest into the Northeast region. And as we head into the week 2 time period, keeping things pretty similar here, maybe just flattening the jet stream flow out just a little bit, keeping the stronger flow through parts of the upper Midwest. And that's going to leave chances for some cooler temperatures here across parts of, again, the Midwest into the Northeast region. Not so convinced about areas kind of along and south of that line there. Anywhere from Illinois into Pennsylvania, maybe trending a little bit warmer as we head into the later parts of next week, into next weekend in that 7 to 10 day time frame. So we'll take a look at that as well here in just a moment. The precipitation outlook here, right now, a jet stream alignment like this, bringing the most active weather here along a couple of fronts. They're going to be sinking into parts of the central U.S., then anywhere from the Central Plains into parts of the eastern Corn Belt, parts of the Northeast region here. And then as we head into week 2, again, a flatter jet stream is going to mean chances for thunderstorms here resuming across parts of the Corn Belt. Again, we'll have to kind of watch the southern extent of that, see how far this truly does make it into the region. But again, keeps things from getting, too out of hand in the Northeast region, but keeps us from drying out too much as well. Going to be a pretty typical next week or two across the Northeast. The last 24 hours of precipitation, again, we've watched this frontal boundary kind of sinking across parts of the Midwest, bringing, a line of showers and storms across parts of Iowa, Minnesota, Wisconsin, and Illinois. And this continues on to the east and to the south as we head through the day Tuesday and then on into Wednesday. We are watching a couple dry areas showing up here across the Midwest into the Northeast region. One particular spot you're starting to hear about in the Corn Belt, across parts of the central and eastern Corn Belt, Iowa, Illinois, Indiana, dealing with some dry spots. And as we talk about the Northeast region here, northern areas starting to pick up on a little bit of dryness as you talk about, Pennsylvania, New Jersey, and areas south from there, actually dealing with a bit of a surplus. So kind of draw a line right in there between, kind of trailing and then areas that have been a little bit more wetter than average here over the last 60 days. We'll check in with the satellite picture here. We've got our big area of high pressure off to the west. Of course, the monsoon does continue. Here's our frontal boundary right now, making its way through parts of the Midwest and the Great Lakes. And that's eventually going to bring some shower and storm activity to parts of the Northeast region here as we head into, again, the next couple of days. The radar picture right now, one little area of decaying showers and storms across parts of the Midwest here, moving through sections of central Illinois, beginning to die out. But again, we'll watch this area for thunderstorms to redevelop as we head through the afternoon today. A closer look there, we'll go ahead and we'll jump past that. That kind of focuses on the Corn Belt. I want to make sure we kind of keep things moving and talking about the Northeast region. For the sake of time here, the surface map here as we wake up on Tuesday morning, watching this frontal boundary moving through parts of the Corn Belt. Again, here's where that shower and thunderstorm activity is supposed to be most widespread here on Tuesday morning. Now, as we take this out, looking out into a couple days into the future here, looking at Wednesday evening now, this frontal boundary that's located here on Tuesday morning makes its way into parts of the Northeast region, stalling out as it trails back into the Central Plains, with another reinforcing frontal boundary making its way into the region here, showers and storms possible along that as well. And that too will move off to the east and to the south, moving into parts of the Northeast region here later on in the week. Looking at the high-resolution NAM model, this will take us through the next 2.5 days. We'll go ahead and we'll step through time with this one, focusing on the Northeast region. We begin to watch this frontal boundary making its way into the area here, dry as we head through the day on Tuesday. Watching for maybe some scattered storms popping up across parts of Pennsylvania and New York State late Tuesday evening. And then as we head into the day on Wednesday now, here we go into Wednesday morning, that first frontal boundary makes its way out. Watching another frontal boundary making its way into parts of the Great Lakes. We'll be watching this one for later on in the week, but still dealing with some scattered showers and storms popping up as we head through the afternoon on Wednesday. Take the drawings off, continuing into Thursday now. This loop is going to end here Thursday morning, but we can see the frontal boundary, the next system making its way in, and I would expect showers and storms to develop along ahead of that Thursday afternoon and Thursday evening, again across parts of Pennsylvania and New York. Taking a look at the total accumulation that accompanies that forecast here, again, notice that the precipitation here across the northeast region here, it is scattered in nature, so some are going to be bigger winners than others who may be living close to each other here, but certainly in some of these swaths where some of the more heavy thunderstorms make their way through, perhaps an inch or two, other folks getting a little bit less than that who maybe go in between the spaces there and get missed by some of the heavier downpours. As we look at the severe weather forecast for the next 3 days, again, fairly quiet across the northeast region. We're looking at Tuesday, Wednesday, and then Thursday. So, of course, as we head through the day, the afternoon Wednesday, watching for some scattered strong storms across parts of New York, Pennsylvania, and then parts of New Jersey, parts of Massachusetts, and Rhode Island as well. Thursday, watching out for parts of western areas here, far western Pennsylvania, a slight risk for some strong storms in this region as well. Otherwise, just anticipating non-severe thunderstorm activity across the region. Looking at the jet stream here, we'll take a look at the 500 millibar height anomalies from the European model. This will give us an idea of where we're headed. Right now, the ridge kind of with a northwest to southeast alignment here. You can draw the axis here heading up anywhere from Texas into parts of British Columbia. And again, keeping northwest flow across the Midwest, the Great Lakes, and that's what's triggering some of the thunderstorm activity across this region here as we watch a trough sink through with the flow. Where are we headed from here? We'll take the drawings off and we will let this thing play out as we take this back starting on Tuesday morning, getting us through Wednesday, Thursday. Again, watching this upper level low kind of rotate through the region. That's what's keeping showers and storms in the forecast here over the next couple of days. As we head into the weekend now, the ridge beginning to kind of recenter itself here across the central U.S., and that's going to allow some heat to kind of rebuild into parts of the central U.S. Watching this trough now as it comes into the Pacific Northwest, and that's going to rotate up and over the top here, kind of flatten things out just a bit, and that is going to show up better here when we look at the 500 millibar winds here. So the actual winds within the jet stream here at 500 millibar is a good mid-level layer for picking up on some of these short waves, these little patches of powerful upper-level winds. You see one right here. This is the one that's responsible for the showers and storms across the eastern Corn Belt here Tuesday afternoon and evening. We'll play this out a little bit further. We'll go into Wednesday now, Thursday, Friday, heading into the weekend. Here you see the ridge kind of re-strengthening over the central U.S. That's allowing heat to kind of rebuild across the midsection of the country. And then here's this system, this little trough making its way across the northern plains. You see the patch of the stronger winds now rotating up and over the top. And this kind of just flattens things out, where you see the corridor of stronger jet stream winds now from the northern plains through the Great Lakes into the northeast region. And that's going to keep showers and storms in the forecast across this region. It'll keep the heat kind of along and south here, but this again, I'm making kind of a cluttered map. This is why I put the question mark over the cooler temperatures from the eastern Corn Belt into sections of Pennsylvania there, because kind of along and south of the stronger jet stream flow, that's where I would expect the heat to kind of be locked in. So maybe warmer and muggier off to the south in this region here, with showers and storms accompanying the stronger jet stream flow. Again, from the northern plains into the Great Lakes, parts of the Midwest, and the northeast region. Looking at the temperature forecast here, temperature anomalies, playing this out. I will bring this back here to Tuesday, dealing with some warmer conditions here in advance of all of this across the northeast region. As the frontal boundaries push through here mid to late week, dealing with a cooler weekend, seeing temperatures anywhere from 5 to 15 degrees cooler than average here across the northeast region as we go into Saturday and Sunday. As the ridge begins to kind of recenter here, we're watching the heat build across the midsection of the country as we get into Monday of next week. And then as the jet stream again begins to kind of flatten out, remember I said that with watching anywhere from Pennsylvania into parts of the eastern Corn Belt, not so sure that we'll really be dealing with cooler temperatures in those regions. It may be that we shift back to a warmer pattern as we head into the week 2 time period, looking out beyond August 12th or so. Another thing this does is watch this play out. I showed some of the precipitable water. We're looking at the moisture content here within the atmosphere, and obviously you're dealing with a very humid air mass in this region right now. As we play this out for the next week or so, the reason that I put this in here is to show that while we do get these fronts coming through here mid to late week, bringing in a drier air mass, there you see it punching in right now from the northwest, the front kind of stalls out in this region. Let me show you that. Here we go. That's as far as it makes it. It does push through the northwest region, but it doesn't clear all the way to the Gulf of Mexico, taking the humid air mass with it. It immediately begins to kind of rebuild into the central part of the country. As we play this out a bit more, you're going to watch it kind of follow the jet stream over here to where we're now, as we go into, again, we're looking at beyond August 12th, dealing with what may be a warmer and muggier air mass across the eastern two-thirds of the United States, and one that might support, again, some more heat and humidity, but also a return to some thunderstorms across the eastern Corn Belt into the northeast region. Taking a look at the instability that accompanies that forecast here. Again, this is the fuel that drives the thunderstorms this time of year. We'll go ahead and we'll see the same thing here where the front makes its way through, but then we see instability kind of returning to the region here, again, just showing another kind of way of visualizing the way that this front does not clear the Gulf of Mexico, but instead lets this volatile air mass kind of rebuild quickly in the central U.S. before making its way into the northeast region here later next week. The precipitation forecast here for the next 10 days or so, we'll go ahead and we'll bring it back to Tuesday morning. Here's this first frontal boundary making its way from the Great Lakes into the Midwest. This pushes into the northeast region here as we get into mid to late week. So a Tuesday afternoon and evening across western portions of the northeast region. Then as we get into Wednesday and Thursday, seeing the entire region picking up on some of this scattered thunderstorm activity. As we head into Friday now, here comes the reinforcing frontal boundary into the region, and then bringing in a cooler air mass as we get into the weekend. High pressure moving in Saturday and Sunday, bringing in, again, a really beautiful weekend across the northeast region. Now, as we head into Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, or Monday and Tuesday of next week, again, seeing some thunderstorm activity picking back up across parts of the Corn Belt, and this I expect over time to kind of reach make its way back into the northeast region, so perhaps picking up on some more thunderstorm activity as we head into, again, beyond the August 12th time frame, the week 2 time frame. Total accumulated precipitation from the European model, we'll just play this out. Again, you see a lot of that accumulating here over the next 3 days or so across the northeast region, but if you watch over here, towards the end of the loop, you start to see some activity picking back up right there as we head into the week 2 time period. And that, again, is what I would expect to start here, but then perhaps begin making its way into more of the northeast region later on in the week 2 time period. Your high temperatures to finish out for the next 5 days in the upper 70s to the lower 80s here for the day on Tuesday. Similar story Wednesday, Thursday. Friday, seeing some of that cooler air make its way in, more widespread low to mid 70s. Cooler again for the day on Saturday. Again, a really pleasant, really cool weekend across the northeast region. As always, Eric Snodgrass will have an in-depth look at the evolution of the next 1 to 2 weeks in our Thursday morning ag forecast video, and I'll have your next northeast regional forecast right here on Friday morning. Have a great day.